Anything that is uncomfortable is only uncomfortable that first time. After you do it once, it becomes comfortable. It's not as scary.
Hey Limitless Nation, today you're in for a real treat. Today you get to learn directly from Scott Aaron. Scott Aaron is an internationally acclaimed and award-winning online marketer, best-selling author, top podcaster, and international speaker. Scott Aaron is on the go-to specialist when it comes to converting traffic, establishing connections, creating residual income using linked leads generation, while building personal brands. People-focused and results-driven, Scott's strategic approach to teaching others how to create wealth online and organic traffic is a game changer when it comes to competing in a saturated digital world. In today's masterclass, you're going to learn directly from the master himself, Scott Aaron. Let's dive into it.
Before you dive into today's masterclass session, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the button below. It allows you to receive notification bell every single time we provide you with the content that allows you to live a limitless life. Now, if you want to go deeper on learning on how you can hunt your future, make sure you download our masterclass session at huntyourfuture.com. It allows you to know exactly what you need to do to hunt your future. Plus, we are also going to share with you tips and tricks on what you need to do to live a limitless life starting from today's forward. Now, let's dive into today's masterclass sessions.
Hey, welcome Scott Aaron.
Donovan, thank you so much for the opportunity and just really grateful to be here.
Awesome, and you're most welcome. I am so pumped and excited and just thrilled to have you here with us today.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it and excited to share with your audience anything that we're going to talk about.
100%. Well, here at the Limitless Nation, we have a tradition of starting every interview in a positive note, in sharing a limitless quote. So do you have a quote or mantra or anything that you say or think to yourself on a daily basis that helps get you up and running in the morning?
Your failures always open the doors to your successes.
I like that. I like
you.
that.
Yeah.
Your failures always open the door to your successes. So it's almost, in a way, an oxymoron, because most people, they don't want to fail. They really don't want to fail, but they want to reach that success. They want to say, I am the greatest, I'm on top. But you're saying that you have to go through that failure in order to get to your success.
There's no other way to achieve success outside of getting to failure first, because you think about all of the great leaders we have around us right now, or all the great inventions. They didn't hit a home run the first time. Even you figure the greatest athletes. Does LeBron James make every shot? No. Does a baseball player hit a home run every time? No. There's a law of averages, and it's just like in entrepreneurship. You have to continue to learn your failures, because there's a lesson in all of that. And that's the one thing I love about life, is that no matter what's going on in the world, no matter how trying or uncertain the times are, there's always a lesson to be learned where you can go back, retool, rethink things, try it a different way. Because I love what Tony Robbins says. He says, you try something. If it doesn't work, what happens? You go back, you try something else. If that doesn't work, you try something else. If that doesn't work, you try. So you continue to learn. Eventually, one of those darts that you're throwing at the dartboard will stick. It's just a matter of when, and continuing down that road to achieve what you're looking to achieve.
100%. And it also sounds like the underlying tone here is, in order to really succeed, you have to get outside of your comfort zone. Because everything that you know right now is comfortable, and everything that you want and need or desire is just on the edge of that comfort zone.
Well, the comfort zone is the natural place where we all want to be, because anything outside of that is icky and weird and scary. And if you think about when we were kids, when we were growing up, we had no fear. We wanted to push the limits. What were we constantly told? No, don't touch that. No, don't climb on that. No, don't do that. Because we had no limitations. We didn't know what a comfort zone was. All we did as children was get uncomfortable, climb on things that we shouldn't, jump off of things that we shouldn't jump off of. So there's three areas. There's the comfort zone, which most people live in because it's comfortable, it's known, and they know exactly what to expect. Then there's the uncomfortable zone, where you start to stretch yourself a little bit and you're starting to do things outside of your comfort zone. So that's how you start to water yourself, so you start to grow. Outside of that is something called the unknown zone. This is the place where the magic happens. This is where prosperity lies and abundance and all the amazing things that you see other people achieving. That's what you could be doing if you got uncomfortable enough to go to this unknown zone where you just go for it. And that's truly what I try to do. I try to experience something different each day where I'm like, man, that was cool. It may not have worked, but I at least tried. I at least pushed myself, because anything that is uncomfortable is only uncomfortable that first time. After you do it once, it becomes comfortable. It's not as scary. So that's why it's always important to continue to challenge yourself, to constantly grow no matter how old or young you are.
100%. And in what you just said, in growing and moving forward, can you share with the Limitless Nation a challenge, setback, failure, obstacle, something that you had to go through in order to get to where you are now as like a best-selling author and a very well-renowned entrepreneur?
So it's transparency and vulnerability are two of the greatest strengths that someone can possess. And for a while, I was really embarrassed and almost ashamed of my story, because I was doing good things, but sometimes you block out the reasons and the catalyst, so to speak, for how you got there. So I've had a lot of ups and downs in my life. I've been divorced twice. I've had to file for bankruptcy. I've made millions. I've lost millions. I've lost a house. But I would say the big moment for me, and I call it a brain tattoo moment. It's a moment that literally, number one, sticks with you forever. But number two, is that jumping off point for how your life goes. If this one moment never happened, I would not be sitting here with you on this podcast today. So that moment for me was when my father let myself and my mother, when they were together, and my sister, he let us know that, he was an entrepreneur his whole life. He had multiple businesses, and then he had broke partnership with a business that he owned and started working for someone else, which was different for me because my father never had a boss. So when he started working for this person, everything seemed good from the outside looking in. But about a year and a half into that new position that he was holding at this job, he left. And he actually took over and bought a failing fitness club in downtown Philadelphia, where we were from. But there was a reason behind that. 3 months into my father running this new gym, we had a family meeting. I was coming back from my freshman year of college at the University of Pittsburgh. I was 18 going on 19 years old. And my father said, listen, there are some issues with the company that I was working for that I left, and I'm going to need to cooperate with the federal government because they're doing an investigation. And they're doing an investigation for a $9.5 million insurance fraud case. And he goes, I'm in the middle of it. And he goes, I'm cooperating. He goes, there is a chance that I may get house arrest, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I've hired lawyers, I'm working with the federal government, and we're going to make sure that we get through this. So again, that was a shock in itself to hear that kind of thing going on. 6 months later, we were at sentencing because my father, to cooperate, you plead guilty. He was sentenced to 24 to 36 months in federal prison, which was not what we expected. And that was my brain tattoo moment, because whether I knew it or not, that same day that my father was sentenced to over 2.5 years in federal prison, at 18.5 years old, I was going to have to take over the family business. That was my introduction to entrepreneurship. I was turned over the keys. My father said, now you're the man of the house. And I had to take over this fitness club that was not doing that great at 18 and a half years old, having no experience in running a business, leading people, or managing people in different positions. But I always tell people that you're dealt hands in life. Sometimes those cards look really good and you're confident. Other times the cards don't look that great, but you have to make the best of that hand. And I made the best of that hand. I turned the gym around in the 2.5 years that my father was away. We went from about 300 members to almost 1,100. And that was the catalyst for having 2 gyms and then selling both for $1 million. And obviously there were other things that I shared that were ups and downs. But if that moment never happened, Donovan, I wouldn't have figured out, like I mentioned very early on, that your failures do truly open your doors to your successes. So you become bulletproof. You understand that entrepreneurship and life are not straight lines.
100%. 100%. Yeah, they scribble all over it, but
It's a roller coaster ride. It's a roller coaster ride.
Yes, because when you start here, it scribbles all around here, and then you end here. It's never a straight line.
Ever.
But in going through that, what I would say would be a tragic or a very difficult situation, because it's very hard at 18, 19, 20 to see your own father go to jail or prison for something that you might think that he shouldn't be in jail for.
Right.
But in going through that experience and being handed the keys, being said, here's your position, this is where you are now. And that's a complete shock. Yeah. One day you're in your own world, and the next day you're handed the keys to a business that you don't know anything about. But what was that aha moment? What was that moment where everything just, clicks? Because you're coming into this completely white paper. You don't know anything about business. What was that moment where you were able to make that shift from the amount of members you had to now a thriving business, to now selling 2 businesses, to really turning it all around?
Well, I realized that through the whole process of falling in love with fitness, even though it was my father's dream. My father, he still is a fitness, but I still work out. I was a personal trainer for 18 years. I competed in bodybuilding. My father, he's 67. He competes all over the world in bench press contests. He's still doing his thing. I fell in love with my father's dream. And it was a good learning lesson for me, because I did fall in love with fitness. But I'll tell you, the biggest thing that I learned and I fell in love with was people. I fell in love with helping people. In my 18-year career as a personal trainer, I logged close to 65,000 hours of one-on-one personal time with people. When you spend that much time with human beings, you become a human connector. Physiologically and emotionally, as human beings, we love connecting with people. And I realized through the gym and through the ups and downs of the fitness industry, I learned my real gift, which was connecting with people, building trust, building rapport, building relationships. And that's why it really led me to diving into LinkedIn 5 years ago, because I wanted to link up with people. I wanted to get connected with people. When you're an entrepreneur, Donovan, you know this, that you spend a lot of time in an office talking to a computer, where half the time people aren't talking back to you, but you have to kind of create that environment for yourself. And I was craving connection, and I really wasn't finding that on Facebook and Instagram. And I stumbled upon LinkedIn and started seeking connection and collaboration with other people at the time, because I was still in the fitness industry, other trainers, other nutritionists, other gym owners. And I was just reaching out. They were reaching back. We were having conversations. And that's how my business started to blossom even more, because what I learned, and this goes back to one of my favorite books, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. And he talks about, instead of living in a world of competition and comparison, live in a world of creation and collaboration. So I was seeking connection. I was seeking collaboration. The more that you connect, the more that you can collaborate, the more that you can create. And that's what I do every day now.
And that's incredible. It is also true that, because as the saying goes, your net worth is created by your network.
it's one of my favorite quotes. Gary Vaynerchuk says it all the time. He goes, and just to quote you, your net worth is always in direct correlation to your net worth. If you have a small network, you're going to have a small net worth. If you have a large network, you have the possibilities for a large net worth.
Because you already set that foundation to be able to collaborate with people and to create things that help the world and inspire others. And that's really amazing. And in speaking of inspiring others and creating things, what is it that you're working on now?
Hope you enjoyed the masterclass session so far. Before we get into the second half of the session itself, it is very crucial for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, as I really don't want you to miss out on another masterclass where I'm going to share with you what other expert celebrities, Fortune 5000 companies do to become successful and live a limitless life. So make sure you subscribe right now, and every single time we upload a new video, you will receive a notification bell. This allows you to enjoy the masterclass on the regular basis. So make sure you subscribe right now. Well, as you are ready, let's get into the second half of the masterclass session.
So the biggest thing that I'm working on now, I have a book coming out. It's called the Network Marketing Academy, and it's a picture book for adults. I've written 2 other written books where it's words and everything, but I really found that catching someone's visual attention and make it very tangible and fun, because I did attach a workbook to it. And what this book does, it goes over not just in network marketing, but what I feel is the 4 most important components to succeeding in entrepreneurship: your mindset, how organized you are, understanding social media, and creating connection and leads. And I put all of those components in this book, and I created basically an exercise book for people where they can go through and understand the different areas of mindset and being organized and social media and lead generation and connection. And after each section, I have an accountability exercise for each person that they can go and download the free workbook that's attached to it. And it's a way to keep themselves accountable, where they can also share it with their teams and other friends and people that they know that are in entrepreneurship. Because there's 2 things that I realize that really separate people from becoming successful in entrepreneurship and not. Number 1 is taking action. When you take action, you're changing something. Change nothing, nothing changes. But if you change something, something will change. And number 2 is accountability. You can listen to all the podcasts you want. You can read all the books you want. But if you don't apply what you're listening and reading and learning, nothing's going to happen. So I took the best of the both worlds. I made this a very actionable and accountable book to move that needle forward in people's businesses, whether it's a millimeter or a mile, to achieve their goals.
Wow, that sounds incredible. So where can the Limitless Nation viewers and listeners go to learn more about this book, as well as the other 2 books that you have written, one of which at least is a best-selling book?
Yeah, my second book, the LinkedIn book for network marketing, did become #1 bestseller on Amazon. The best way is my website, www.scottaaron.net. You can connect with me in my books, my podcast, social, everything is on that website.
That's incredible. Now, in getting to where you are now, being a best-selling author, being a connector, being someone who has been successful in business, there must have been something that was holding you back, or was there anything that was holding you back from really becoming limitless when you started out on this journey?
I would say it was a combination of 2 things. Number 1, fear. And it was the fear of judgment, the fear of what other people would think of me, the fear of failure. And I would say the other thing is confidence. I was bullied and picked on a lot as a kid. I wasn't the runt out of my group of friends, but I was an easy target. I was a really nice guy, nice kid. So I was an easy target. So for me, there was a good portion of my life where I really took strides to be liked instead of respected. And what I learned is, you can strive to be liked, but it's not going to get you very far. But if you strive to be respected, there's going to be people regardless that either like you or don't like you. And that doesn't matter. You focus on the ones that do. But when I really understood the power of being confident in who you are, what you stand for, and what you want to achieve, there's nothing that's going to stop you. And again, this came back to one of those foundational things that you and I spoke about early on, that Entrepreneurship and life are not straight lines. So when you understand that there's going to be peaks and valleys and dips and twists and turns and bumpy roads, and you have the confidence knowing that your failures do open the doors to your successes, your confidence in your armor will build each and every day. So I know confidently that there are still going to be things that are going to challenge me moving forward. But I know going through everything that I've been through in life, that's prepared me for when something does happen. I have the skills, I have the knowledge, and I have the confidence to move through it, flowing through it just like water to keep achieving my goals.
100%, 100%. And with you having impacted the lives of countless thousands of people, because as you said yourself, you spent over 60,000 hours of one-on-one time with people. So you know people, you're connected, you have countless amounts of people who you interact with and work with and that you've helped. But can you share with the Limitless Nation in a brief amount of words, what is the best bit of advice that you yourself have ever been given that you can now pass on to the Limitless Nation?
There are millions and millions and millions of ways of how to succeed, and there's only one way to fail, and that's to quit. If you do not quit, you are guaranteed to find a way of how to succeed. That's been the best advice, and it's what I stick to.
I like that. I like that because it's, believe it or not, I've never heard it said that way, but it is very profound because it makes me think of it in a different way. Because I was always told never quit, don't quit, and that was pretty simple. But the way you said it is, there's millions of ways to succeed. That's just such a positive way to look at it, and there's only one way to fail, and that's to quit. And I really believe that to be true.
It is the truth. And if you think about that from a foundational level, you're going to figure something out. But if you quit, you literally halt the entire chance that you have of succeeding, and you're limiting yourself of what you can achieve because you've quit and you've stopped. As long as you keep moving forward, whether it's an inch or a mile, eventually you will figure it out.
100%. And in figuring it out, when you started business at 18 compared to where you are now, already an accomplished author, best-selling author, knowing a lot of different highly successful individuals, the habits and rituals that you had at 18 versus where you're at now, they cannot be the same. So I'm really curious, what is a habit or ritual that you had to implement into your life that now helps you maintain this limitless life?
So I would say the biggest change that I've made, and this just happened in the last year and a half, and it's been protecting my time. As a personal trainer, we don't protect our time. If you have any friends that are in personal training, I was at the gym at 5 and I was training people till 8 and 9 o'clock at night. So no time was protected because I had no time. Since becoming a full-time entrepreneur over the last 7 years, and most recently working from home for the last 3.5, almost 4 years, you have to create hours of operation. You have to create time blocking. You have to protect your time. So for me, my morning is my most precious time I have. And myself and my fiance, we do the same thing every single morning. We get up at 6, we have a little snack, we take the dogs for a walk, we work out, we get our coffee, we have breakfast, and we begin our day at 10 a.m. The first 4 hours of my day is dedicated to me, because if I can't take care of me first, there's no way for me to take care of all those around me that I'm seeking to inspire and motivate.
Yes, I completely agree with that. And as you said previously, you really like books, you've written books, you are constantly involved in personal development, right?
100%. That's, the one thing that's, once you turn that personal development faucet on, you never want to turn it off. So I'm constantly looking to learn new things, because the teacher's always the student. And when you talk to someone and they're not reading, they're not educating themselves, when someone thinks they know everything, they know nothing, because there's always something to learn from, whether it's a podcast or a blog or a book, or wherever you're downloading your personal development information from.
100%. Now, in this scenario, let's just say, because I know that you've experienced a massive loss and massive highs where you've made millions, you've lost millions, but let's just say you come home and absolutely everything is gone. There's nothing in the house. You look at your bank account, there's no money in the bank account, but there's enough money to buy one book, one audiobook, or one course. Only one. What would be the first thing you have to buy?
That's putting that question in a very, very small box. Because I mean, I'm going to go back to one of the, actually there's been so many great books that I've read, but I'm going to have to go with the book that really shifted my mindset when I was really transitioning on LinkedIn and now what I teach. And it's a book by Andrea Waltz and Richard Fenton called Go for No. And this book teaches you that, and it says it right on the cover, yes is the destination, but no is how you will get there. And most people, all they want to do is hear yes. They want people, yes, I want to hire you. Yes, I'm going to give you money. Yes, 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 yes. There is no yes without going through the word no. The more no's that you are willing to get, collect, and hear, the more yeses will show up right behind them. So if I literally had to focus on one book to recreate the millions of dollars and the millions of lives impacted, I would have to say Go for No by Andrea Waltz and Richard Fenton.
I agree, because as you kind of hinted there in network marketing and basically in any business, when you're going up to somebody or a prospect and talking to them, you have to be able to get used to being told no so many times. Because a long time ago, I used to sell popcorn door to door. And I found out the formula that in order to make a sale, I had to knock on at least 20 doors in order to get one sale. So every time I got a no, I got used to it. And I realized that after about 20 no's, I had to have a yes coming up.
It's called your failure quotient. The more often you fail, the more often you will then succeed. And very similar story in that book. It talks about this insurance company that had all their salesmen, their insurance sales, go door to door because they were just smiling and dialing. They were going through their warm market, and they had them go out into the field, and they found out that if they can knock on 60 doors a day, they will get one person to buy a life insurance policy. So they went from closing about one sale a month to closing one sale a day because they figured all I got to do is find 60 doors, knock on them, and I'm going to get my one.
And that is incredible. Now, also kind of going back to your mindset, can you share in one sentence, what are you most grateful for today?
I have a gratitude journal that sits by my book, by my bedstand, and I say the same thing every night. I'm grateful for my health, my body, my businesses, my fiance, my son, my friends, and my family. That is, and my life. That is everything to me. If I don't have my family, if I don't have my health, then I have nothing. And that's what I'm most grateful for.
I believe it, because as you said earlier, if you cannot support yourself, if you can't sustain yourself, you're like somebody in an airplane. When the airplane's going down, the oxygen mask comes down. You have to give yourself oxygen first. Otherwise, you're going to be a dead person and a lot heavier to everyone else.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, also in that same type of vein, let's say you had the ability to travel back through time and space and talk to the younger version of yourself. Or better yet, let's say you had the ability to travel back in time and talk to somebody who's 18, 19, and just got their first opportunity at business. What advice would you give them?
Wow. I mean, if I was even looking back on myself, I would just remind myself, or any 18 or 19-year-old, that there is nothing in life that you cannot accomplish when you truly believe in yourself. And that is the absolute truth. Everything that I create, everything that I do, you have to buy into yourself. You have to believe in you so that other people do. If you don't believe in what you're doing, if you don't believe in yourself, how do you expect anyone else to? That's what I would tell my younger self and anyone that's 18 or 19 years old.
I believe it. I believe it. Now, Scott, where can the Limitless Nation viewers and listeners go to learn more about you, your books, your courses, all that you have going on, how to connect with you, and just say hi?
Yeah, I'm on all social media. So you can literally type in my name in social media, I'll come up. But like I mentioned before, if you go to my website, www.scottaaron.net, my social links are there. My podcast is on there. My books are on there. And I love connect. I mean, I'm a human connection specialist. So please, drop me an email, DM me, Facebook message me, however you want to connect, definitely say hi.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very, very much for your time, Scott.
Donovan, thank you again for the opportunity, and just grateful again for being here with you today.
100%. Well, I'm sure that the Limitless Nation has been inspired by your story. I know me personally, I've been completely wowed by your story, because you went from being a regular 18-year-old kid going through life, going through college, to all of a sudden being handed what is a huge responsibility, as well as it's kind of a bittersweet situation, because your father left and was no longer able to help guide you. And then you had this huge responsibility to now manage a business that, well, you could have let it fail, but you decided not to. You decided to stick with it. You invested in your own education and personal development. You continued moving forward. You did not quit, and you managed to grow that business exponentially. And instead of keeping all of these secrets, all these tips, all of these things that you have used to help get your business to the level it was, you decided to share. You decided to help other people. You went and became a personal trainer, logging over 60,000 hours. And that's not even the least of it. You went even further, and you became a best-selling author. Having written over 3 books now, you're continuing to inspire so many different people that their dream is just right outside of their comfort zone, and anyone has the ability to move forward and really achieve the life that they want to live.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better myself. And it's nice to hear it back, because sometimes you don't realize how far you've come until you hear it from someone else. And I appreciate the accolades and the support, and just the fact that you've created this podcast to give people like me the platform and the ability to share my story to inspire other people. So thank you.
You're most welcome. Well, until next time, this is Donovan saying, stay limitless.
Well, that's a wrap. Please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the word subscribe. And if you want to go deeper on learning on what you need to do to hunt your future, make sure you watch the interview that I've done with Donovan on what you need to do to hunt your future on every aspect of your being. This allows you to live a limitless life on every aspect of your life, starting from today's forward. Plus, you are going to receive tips and tricks on what you need to do to tackle your day, tackle your challenges on every situation, every single time. So go ahead and download it right now. And until then, stay limitless forever.